Hi guys, welcome back to week 6, our discussion for this week, us looking at like lament and faith and kind of reflecting on some of the poems and like Psalms and Lamentations we've been reading. This week was fun. It was interesting to kind of dive into everyone's perspectives on this like lamenting. So for our question this week, it says, is it okay for people to lament in your religious tradition? That's the first question. And so for me, I grew up just like in not fully in the church but like more towards middle school on, and it was just like a non-denominational church. I think yes and no. I think that like it's definitely like allowed, like, and there was nothing that says that it doesn't, like that it's not okay to lament, but I think that it wasn't always encouraged. Like I think that you kind of get in a cycle of like you encounter something hard or you walk through a trial, and then people kind of want, like, you want to recover quickly, and so you don't like sit in that and like sit and grieve and lament, if that makes sense. But I do think there are a lot of ways that like it was totally okay, and it did kind of remind me of, I don't know if you guys have gone to like a Good Friday service, and it's just like the Good Friday, and you kind of like are grieving like Jesus's death, and then like Easter has come and you celebrate that kind of thing. And I've only gone to one this last year, and so it's interesting to see how people, you kind of take on that weight and that burden and that like heaviness of really like taking time to look at what happened on Calvary. And so that's kind of what this reminded me of like that grieving, that like that process of like going through lament. Like that is kind of how that reminded me of, which I guess kind of answers the second question, where do you see lament or lack lament in your faith community? That was something more at home that I did see. And then I think the church that I go to now really prioritizes life at the table. And I think just kind of what that means, like doing life with people at the table. And so I think that comes with like a lot of hard things, and you like walk with people, and you like when people in your church go through like the trenches, you're in the trenches with them, and you feel those things, and you grieve with people, and you work with people while they're like going through those seasons of life, So I think I see that now, and even in just like prayer and things like that in my faith community now. And then just how do these poems or the Psalms and Lament help you think differently? I really enjoyed looking at Psalms and Lamentations, and like it's just interesting to see, especially like Psalms, how there's a lot of Psalms that are so beautiful and like poems of this like beautiful things of what God has done, but there also are a lot of like crying out to God. And similar to Lamentations, it's like the whole kind of thing is like crying out to God, and it kind of seems like a deep intimacy with that. You can be so transparent with someone that you can like praise them, but you can also be honest about like hard feelings. And so I thought that was really cool, and it kind of changed my perspective a little bit on just like, like the deeper relationship you have. And so like in this case, deep relationship you have with God, that like closeness and intimacy, then it comes and opens into like being okay to, yes, have joy, but also have sadness. So yeah, those are some of my thoughts.